IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 5th of February 2024. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover the most important articles from the newspaper, and also we are going to discuss a mapping topic that we have selected from the places in news that are mentioned in the Hindu newspaper today. So let us see the list of articles that we are going to discuss in today's analysis session. So these are the articles that we are going to discuss with you. So we have mentioned the name of these articles along with the relevance from the UPSC exam syllabus point of view, and also we have listed the page number from Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper. So let us see the first topic. This is going to be a mapping topic, and so the places in news, so generally we call it to be places in news, and this particular island was in news. It is known as Delft, okay, or Delft Island. So where is this island located? This island is located between India and Sri Lanka. Okay, so between India and Sri Lanka. So this is the southern portion of India. From India, let's say Sri Lanka is connected, and we can see over here Adams Bridge is mentioned. So where is Delft Island? This is the Delft Island. Alright, so this is the location of this island, and this island has been mentioned in one of the editorial topics in today's newspaper. So that's why we have thought of covering this particular island. Many a times the places in news related topics do come in the UPSC Prelims exam. So this will make you ready for mapping section of the prelims exam. Okay, so generally about 5 questions are asked by UPSC from the mapping topics, and from geography point of view this is very important. Okay, apart from this there are many other locations also that are important. For example, let's say like over here between India and Sri Lanka there is a strait that is known as Park Strait. Okay, Park Strait. So strait is a narrow channel of water that separates two let's say like land masses, and it connects two water bodies. So this is known as Park Strait. So it is located between India and Sri Lanka. So this is the map between India and Sri Lanka, and this is the location of Delft Island. So for your clear understanding, let me quickly draw the map of, let's say, southern portion of India. All right, so this is the this is the map of, let's say, India. So over here we do have another country that is located. So name of this country is Sri Lanka, right? Name of this country is Sri Lanka. So this is the map of India. This is the map of Sri Lanka. And where is this Delft Island located? This island is located somewhere here. Okay, name of this island is DEL, okay, FT, Delft Island. So this is the island that was in news. So it is important for you that you keep a tab on these topics that come in the newspaper. Okay, you can also draw a map of India. You can draw the location of Delft Island, and you can keep, let's say, like, you know, making such maps in a separate notebook that will help you to solve, let's say, questions related to mapping in the prelims exam. Alright, so I have included another map also related to the same island so that this topic becomes clear to you. So this is another map. Here we can say this is India, this is part of Sri Lanka, this is area of detail. So this is where the Delft Island located, or Delft Island located. So here you can see we have included another map, right, just for giving you a clear picture related to this. There are some other locations also that are important. For example, Parkway, right, and this is the Delft Island. It is also known as Neduntivu. Okay, this other name is also very important. It is known as Neduntivu. So I'm writing over here Delft Island. Along with this, it is known as Neduntivu. Okay, both these names are important for you to remember. So with this, let us quickly move to the first topic for discussion today, right? So this article is from Indian Polity, right? This is important for the UPSC mains exam under GS paper 2, and also this is important for the prelims exam, right, under prelims section. All right, so we are going to discuss about this. Thank you so much for joining, Suman. So we are going to discuss about this particular topic, which says the path towards a pluralist civil society. All right, So through this topic, we will understand a broader concept related to Indian society. We will talk about what do we mean by pluralist civil society. We are going to discuss about some important concepts from the preamble of the Constitution of India. We are going to discuss about the nature of Indian polity. We are going to discuss about, let's say, some of the acts that are mentioned over here, okay? Citizenship Amendment Act. We are going to discuss a lot of, many of these things. So name of the first topic that we are going to discuss today, this is the topic number 1. What is the name? The path towards a pluralist civil society. The path towards a pluralist civil society. So before we start discussing this particular topic, we need to start understanding the context, right? Why we are discussing this topic. We need to discuss the context. So basically what happened, right? The government of India or India had a parliament building earlier, but recently a new parliamentary building has been constructed. And after constructing that parliamentary building, so the parliament has been shifted or moved from the previous parliamentary building to the new parliamentary building. And after moving this, right, so the thing is, all the member of parliaments were to assemble in the new parliament building. On the very first day of their movement to the new parliament building, what they have done, they have distributed a copy of the Constitution of India. Okay, what they have done, they have distributed a copy of the Constitution of India. As we all know that the Constitution of India is the constituting document for India. This serves multiple purposes because like this talks about the nature of polity that we have, right? So we have a democratic country. We do have a, let's say, country that is run by the Constitution, right? So we have a, let's say, parliamentary form of government. So all of these things are mentioned in the Constitution of India. And in the original Constitution of India, some important keywords are mentioned. These keywords are known as socialist and secular. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about some important keywords. One of the keyword is known as socialist. Second is known as secular. So socialist and secular are, let's say, are the words that are mentioned in the preamble of the Constitution. Where they are mentioned? They are mentioned in the preamble of the Constitution. What is the preamble? Preamble is considered to be the preface of the Constitution of India. This is the introduction to the Constitution of India. And if we talk about the importance of these words, like, socialist and secular, they have been added into the Constitution of India by an amendment, right? Long back, I think 42nd Constitution Amendment Act. But if we talk about secular, secular means the state, right, will not interfere into religious affairs of any dominion. Maybe it is Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikhs, right? Isai, or maybe people who follow Judaism, right? Jews and Anglo-Indians and all. So in India, we do have many people, right? Many people, they follow different religion, right? According to their own faith. So when we talk about a secular state, so India is a secular state whereby the state maintains, let's say, like, some distance from the religious affairs. And religion is not banned from public sphere, all right? So India is a secular state. When India became independent, after then India has adopted a constitution. We have enacted the constitution. In the constitution itself, the constitution starts with "We the people," right? We the people of India, like that, we the people. So we the people signifies that Constitution of India has been drafted by the people and it has been, let's say, given to the people of India. Right? By the people, for the people. This is the thing. So here the nature of country is secular. It is socialist. Secular means, like, the state will maintain some kind of distance from the religion. None of the religion will be given primacy over the other religion. There are many states across the world. Many states means many countries across the world that are not secular in nature, right? But there are many countries also that are secular in nature. For example, if we talk about United States of America, if we talk about Great Britain, these are secular states, these are secular countries. If we talk about Pakistan, so this is a Islamic state, it's not a secular state, but India is a secular state. But what has happened, the copy of the Constitution of India that was distributed, right, on the first day of the assembly, right, first day of the assembly in the new parliament building to the member of parliaments does not have these two keywords. In the copy of the constitution book that was distributed, they did not have these two words. These two words have been omitted, which is socialist and secular. Socialist means, socialist is a very important concept. What is this concept talks about? Socialist talks about that, like, socialist is essentially about welfareist principle. It talks about various things, for example, securing justice, social, economic and political justice, then liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, and equality of status and of opportunity for all. So socialist state means, like, it does have, let's say, economic socialism, it does have political socialism. So there are concepts related to it. So Indian polity or India as a state has been seen as a secular state, as a socialist state, but these two keywords have been omitted from the copy of the constitutional book that was distributed among the member of parliaments. So this has created, let's say, like a kind of rift between the ruling party and the opposition party. So there were, let's say, like, there were opposition to removal of these two keywords from the constitution. This has not been removed by way of amendment from the constitution. Only the copies that have been distributed, they did not have, let's say, socialist and secular keywords mentioned in the preamble. So in this particular article, the author is pointing towards a view that the path towards a pluralist civil society. Okay, so when we talk about pluralist civil society means, like, in our country we do have civil society, we do have civil society organizations, we do have people who follow different faiths and different religions, but they coexist together. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to make, let's say, like, cohesive bond between people of different religious dominions. For example, there are people who follow Sikhism, there are people who follow Hinduism, there are people who follow Islam as religion. So all these people are staying together in harmony with one another. So the thing is, the ideal of fraternity. What? Ideal of fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood. Okay, fraternity means brotherhood between people, right, in India. It should be safeguarded. So here in this article, author says that, like, removal of these two keywords actually, let's say, like, is an attack on the socialist and secular fabric of the nation, and we need to protect it at all cost. And how we can protect it? We can protect it by making our civil society stronger, so that, like, civil society can resist, civil society can oppose any, let's say, like, authoritarianism by the state. So in this article, author has also cited, let's say, the Citizenship Amendment Act, where people have agitated against the government, right, at various places. For example, in Una, there was agitation by Dalits against caste-based violence. And in Pathalgadi movement of tribal in Jharkhand, the farmers movement in Punjab and Haryana, and there was nationwide protest by Muslims led by women against Citizenship Amendment Act. So these things has been mentioned. So the core idea of this particular article is that when the state assumes authoritarian character, when the state becomes authoritarian, in that case, we need to have a strong civil society. That is, strong civil society must have, let's say, like, a sense of fraternity, brotherhood among them. They should be pluralist civil society, and they should be strong enough so that they can resist any such, let's say, like, any such authoritarianism by the state. So finally, in this article, the author says the alternative is to have a civil society that functions as the handmaiden of an authoritarian state. Okay, this is the thing. So with this, in this article, they have mentioned or referred to some books also. One of the book is known as The Constitution of India, Popular Sovereignty and Democratic Transformation. Okay, so this book has been written by a scholar, Sabrani Sen. So the author has cited many such books, right? This is one of the book. Then the author has cited about another book, which is Japan's Orient, Rendering Past into History, 1995. So these things have been let's say cited by the author to make the viewpoint of the author strong in this article. So with this, let us quickly move to understand another article, right? So we are discussing the editorials of the newspaper, and editorials come up with opinion, they come up with counter opinion, they come up with critiques. So there are, let's say, like if you read the editorials, you will understand different, let's say, ideas through these editorials. The second topic, it is like this topic is micro credential, the next chapter in the higher education. Alright, so this article has been written by our chairman, written by the chairman University Grants Commission, and was the 12th Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University. So this topic is very important. Through this topic, we will understand about higher education in the country. We will understand how higher education in the country can be reformed. Or in this article, the author has talked about various steps that the government of India is taking in this regard. Okay, government of India is taking in this regard. So this is topic number 2. The name of the topic is micro credentials, the next chapter in higher education. Okay, micro credentials, the next chapter in higher education. So let us understand, this topic is important under GS paper 2. Okay, it is important under GS paper 2 under, let's say, education, and it is also important under GS paper 3, because we are going to understand about how education can be, how higher education can be made so that it can meet, let's say, the demand of the industry, so Indian economy. So we will discuss about this particular topic from these two references. So let us understand what do we mean by micro credential. This particular keyword is very, very important for you. Okay, what is micro credential? We will understand micro credentials versus macro credential. Okay, versus macro credentials. So to understand this, let us first understand about macro credential. For example, there is a person who does graduation, right? A person who does graduation, or a person who does post graduation, right? Or let's say a person does PhD. So these kind of education are known as macro credential, because a person has to spend significant number of years of his or her life to acquire these credentials. Like if you want to do graduation, at least you have to spend 3 years of your life after doing 12th, or maybe 4 years or 5 years. It depends on the course that you are pursuing. So to acquire graduation, you have to spend 3, 4 or 5 years, right? It depends on the courses that you are doing. In case of post graduation also, after doing this, you may have to spend 1, 2 or 3 years, depending on which course you are doing. PhD generally takes about 4 to 5 years. It may take more than that, up to 7 years as well. So it depends. These are known as macro credential. Now what do we mean by micro credential? Micro credential are, these are short term courses. What? These are short term courses, right? Short term courses. And when we talk about the nature of these short term courses, so these short term courses are being provided, let's say, in online mode, or it can be provided in offline mode, right? Offline mode, or they can be provided in hybrid mode. Okay, hybrid mode, like, you know, nature how it is being taught. Apart from this, they are certification courses. What? They are certification courses. And this can be provided by government institutions, it can be provided by private institutions, it can be provided by online platforms also. For example, you might have heard about Coursera, you might have heard about Udemy, you might have heard about, let's say, some universities in India. For example, if you talk about Delhi University, after they have implemented the National Education Policy 2020, right, they started giving micro credentials also. For example, if there is a student who has joined any undergraduate course, maybe BA, BCom, etc., if that person drops out of the college after acquiring, let's say after doing 1 year of study, that person will be given a certificate. What? That person will be given a certificate of completion of 1 year, right, of course. If that person has dropped out after 2 years, that person may be given a diploma, right, like that. So micro credentials are something that, let's say, skills a person in a particular field. For example, you are a person who has gone through a course maybe of 6 months of 1 year related to banking sector. So you will be having understanding how the banking sector functions, and then you may get a job in the banking sector in any level, lower level, middle level, etc. So that is importance of micro credentials. Micro credentials are booming. One thing, apart from this, micro credentials are specific to a particular field of study. It can be related to coding, it can be related to banking sector, it can be related to insurance sector, it can be related to any sector of the economy. So anyone who acquires micro credential, that person makes himself or herself, let's say, like, competent enough to get a job in any sector. And why micro credentials are important? Because it bridges the academia and, let's say, industry gap. So in academia, in education sector, the people who are doing BA, people who are doing MA, people who are doing graduation, post-graduation, many of them are not employable, because the courses that are being taught, these courses are not the ones that are specifically needed by the industry, right? So there is a gap between what our higher education teaches our student and what the industry demands, and this gap is bridged by micro credentials. So in this article, the author has talked about that micro credentials are very important. It is a growing sector, and in the national education policy, right, in the national education policy 2000, I'm just writing it, national education policy 2020, right, they have included micro credentials, right? They are basically recognizing the micro credentials, and they have created a system also for recognizing the micro credential. What is that system known as? That system is known as National Credit Framework. Okay, that system is known as National Credit Framework, NCRF, National Credit Framework. So under this National Credit Framework, what they have done, they have included, or they have made something which is known as academic bank, right? Academic bank of credit. So here they have mentioned that, like, what happens, let's say, like, this is academic bank of credit. I'm just writing academic bank of credit, ABC. For example, you as a person, right, you as a person, let's say A, you have got educated from a particular university, let's say, like, you got educated. After completing 1 year of study, what you can do, you can drop out of this, you can then join another institution, right, and you can do further study. So the thing is, the credits that you have earned from the first institution will be transferred to the second institution, and cumulatively, let's say, like, after some time, maybe after doing 3 years of study, you can get a graduation. This is the thing. So micro credentials are being recognized under the national education policy. They have created national credit framework, and they have, let's say, created academic bank of credit, so that years of students are not wasted. So it has allowed multiple entry, multiple exit system, okay, which is known as multiple entry, multiple exit, okay, ME system, right? It has allowed. So you can take entry in one institution, you can drop out of it, you can join another institution, you can take a break, and then you can rejoin one of these institutions, or you can join some other institution of your choice. This is the thing. So with this, having understood this particular thing, let us understand what is the crux of this article. So author says, higher education institutes in India can be the catalyst in integrating micro credentials with existing academic programs. Okay, so higher educational institutions can, let's say, can integrate the micro credentials into the existing academic programs, and it is going to bridge the, let's say, academia industry gap. So with this, we have another article. This article is also very good. Through this article, we will understand a very important thing. It says holding Israel accountable. Okay, this topic is important under international relations. We are going to discuss about this topic. This is topic number 3. It says holding Israel accountable. All right. So we all know, let me quickly draw a map of Israel. So this is the map of Israel. This is known as Gaza Strip. Over here we have the West Bank. Right? There are some countries that are surrounding this. One of the country is Egypt. Then we have, let's say, Lebanon. We have Syria. We have Jordan. Over here we have Mediterranean Sea. I'm just writing MC. All right. So this is the map of Israel. So basically what has happened, as we all know, in Gaza Strip there resides something which is known as Hamas. So Hamas is a non-state actor. Hamas means the Islamic Resistance Movement. Hamas has attacked on Israel on 7th of October 2023, and Israel, in retaliation, right, in its self-defense, it has started attacking on Hamas. But the thing is that attack that Israel has carried out, it has not only killed people who are from Hamas, but they have killed huge number of civilians. They have killed huge number of, let's say, children, right? Children of the age group who are below 18 years of age. So in all, Israel has killed more than 25,000 people. Okay, Israel has killed more than 25,000 people in Gaza Strip, right? And how many people did Hamas kill? Around 1,300 to 1,400. Now they have killed in retaliation 25,000, let's say, people, civilians in Gaza Strip. So this is being termed as genocide. Okay, this is being termed as genocide. All right. So now we need to understand that what has happened. So basically there is a country, it's known as South Africa. What South Africa has done? South Africa has filed a case in the International Court of Justice. So South Africa has filed a case against Israel, okay, against Israel. South Africa has said that Israel is committing genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza Strip. So that's why South Africa wants that, Israel should stop committing genocide, and the International Court of Justice, right, has admitted this particular case. Why it has admitted? First of all, the International Court of Justice has seen whether it has jurisdiction over this particular issue or not. So International Court of Justice has jurisdiction on this case, and International Court of Justice is considered to be the primary, let's say, judicial organ of the United Nations organization. So what has happened? Basically, the International Court of Justice has looked into the issue from both the countries. It has heard South Africa, it has heard Israel, and it has released interim orders. Okay, it has released what? Interim orders. Why interim orders? Because if they go into investigating the case, it may take another 3-4 years. But by that time, Israel might have killed huge number of more civilians. So in the interim orders, what they have done, what the International Court of Justice has done, it has asked Israel to, let's say, to stop doing genocide, and at the same time furnish the report within 1 month to the International Court of Justice, that what steps it has taken to reduce the genocide or stop the genocide from happening. So the thing is, in this article they have discussed about 5 important clauses that makes a case to be admitted in the International Court of Justice. So that is mentioned in this article. So basically, why South Africa has reached over there? Because South Africa has taken an extraordinary step, right, to save the humanity from any kind of genocide. So like, this case is being filed under the Genocide Convention. Which convention? This is known as Genocide Convention, right? This is known as Genocide Convention. So this is the thing. So this case has been admitted. So in this particular article, what the author says that the ICJ's decision is momentous because it raises serious questions about how Israel has carried out its military operations, which Tel Aviv will have to answer. Tel Aviv means capital of Israel. So International Court of Justice has issued interim orders after looking into multiple aspects, and the final thing in the interim order is that Israel should stop genocide and it has to answer the International Court of Justice back within 1 month. And why International Court of Justice? Because International Court of Justice is considered to be the world court. Only the member states are members of this particular organization. All the countries that are members of the United Nations organization are members of the International Court of Justice as well. Now we have another article. It says unending woes. India must incentivize fishermen to give up bottom trawling. So this topic is important. Why this is important? This is important under 2 important headings. One is India-Sri Lanka relations. Second aspect is like the issue of the fishermen. So fishermen do fishing activities in the waters between India and Sri Lanka, right, by following 2 different methods. One of the method is known as bottom trawling, right, and other method is known as deep sea. Okay, other method is known as deep sea fishing. Okay, so the thing is, deep sea fishing is allowed, but bottom trawling has been banned by Sri Lanka in 2017. So what Sri Lanka has done in the year of 2017, they have banned bottom trawling, and many Indian fishermen, right, they do bottom trawling not only in Indian waters, they sometimes cross over to Sri Lankan waters and they do bottom trawling. And many people have been arrested by Sri Lankan Navy in the past, and so through diplomatic efforts, Indian government has been able to, let's say, secure their freedom of the fishermen who have been arrested by Sri Lankan Navy, and also through judicial orders they are also released. So in this article they have discussed about an island which is known as Del FT Island. I have discussed about this island in the beginning of the discussion, right? So here we need to understand bottom trawling is prohibited by Sri Lanka, but Indian people are involved in doing bottom trawling. In this article they have said that what we need to do is we need to make our fishermen understand that they can go for deep sea fishing instead of bottom trawling. And in this article they have discussed about the Blue Revolution scheme. They have discussed about, let's say, an act that has been passed. This act is known as Tamil Nadu Marine Fishing Regulation Act 1983. So basically it is related to how fishermen should do fishing activities in the waters between India and Sri Lanka. This is the thing. So with this, let us quickly move to another article. It says a sunshine initiative. Center solar initiative should be accommodative to states. Okay. So what has happened? The central government, the Prime Minister Modi, he has announced that he will secure solarization of rooftop of 1 crore households in the country, right? So here what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that he is going to help around 1 crore people in the country, right, to get what? To get solar rooftop. Okay, why solar rooftop? Because if we use solar panels, it will reduce the consumption of electricity that are based on fossil fuel. So this is going to be a green initiative. It's going to reduce our carbon footprint. We will be able to reduce the carbon dioxide emission from India, and it will help India to achieve net zero target by 2070. So this is the thing. However, in this article what they have discussed that there are many state governments. In those states there are electricity distribution companies. These electricity distribution companies are known as discoms, okay, discoms. And many of these electricity distribution companies are making huge number of losses, huge amount of losses. And if the central government goes for solarization, so the thing is electricity will not be consumed from these electricity distribution companies, so they will further make losses. So in this article, what the author suggests that center's solar initiative should accommodate to the states. They should accommodate to the, let's say, distribution companies requirements also, okay. So when we talk about solarization, this thing, so the power distribution companies comes under Ministry of Power. When we talk about renewable energy, when we talk about, let's say, solar energy, so they come under another ministry which is known as Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So this is a very, very important article. In this article, they have talked about the solar rooftop scheme, and under this, those households that consume electricity less than 300 units in a month, right? So they will be getting benefited under the solar scheme of the government of India. So those households that has a requirement of 1 to 2 kilowatt, so they will be benefited under the central government's schemes. However, through this article, author raises this particular concern from the distribution companies, power distribution companies that are working in different states, okay. So with this article, let us quickly move to another article. So we are left with only 2 articles. I have little less time, so I'll be quick in covering this article. So in this article, they have discussed on Uttarakhand's Uniform Civil Code. So we know Uniform Civil Code is mentioned under Article 44 of the Constitution of India, right? Article 44 of the Constitution of India comes under Directive Principles of a State Policy. So what does Uniform Civil Code mention? Uniform Civil Code looks into various aspects related to when we talk about marriage, right? Marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, etc. So what is Uniform Civil Code? Basically, in India, we do have many religious groups or many people who follow different religions. For example, people who follow Hinduism, people who follow Islam, people who follow Christianity, people who follow Judaism, people who follow Sikhism. So we do have people who follow different religions in India, and they do have their own personal laws. Personally, let's say in their religion, there are different ways of getting married, right? So they follow different customs and they do have different norms. Means in some of the religion, let's say especially in this article they have mentioned, in Muslim religion, if a couple gets divorced, so in that case the women have to wait for some time before she can get remarried to another person, right? So the thing is, through the Uniform Civil Code, they want to bring uniformity into these different aspects. How marriages should be registered, how divorce should happen, right? How inheritance will be looked into, how adoption will be looked into, what will be the laws related to adoption and all, okay. So when we talk about inheritance in India, in Hindu, let's say we do have the Hindu Act. Under this, we do have various systems. One is known as Daya Bhaga, other is known as Mitakshara inheritance. So the thing is different religious sects have different ways of dealing with these personal issues. So through Uniform Civil Code, they want to bring uniformity in these aspects. So the thing is, in the state of Uttarakhand, it is being seen that within next few days, within next 4 or 5 days, they may pass a Uniform Civil Code in the state of Uttarakhand. And similarly, there are many other states also. I'm going to write down the name of states. There are many states. Number 1 is Uttarakhand. I'm just writing UK for our understanding. Then Madhya Pradesh and also Gujarat, okay. In these 3 states, basically they have thought that they are going to pass Uniform Civil Code, and these 3 states are ruled by BJP, right, ruled by Bharatiya Janata Party. So in this article they have discussed what is Uniform Civil Code, what were the debates related to Uniform Civil Code in the in the Constituent Assembly, and what was the viewpoint of B.R. Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting assembly. So what he has said, that uniform civil code must be voluntary. Means those religious communities who want to adopt uniform civil code, they can adopt. It should not be imposed by the state. It should not be imposed by the government on the religious communities, right? So in this article, basically they have discussed about what is uniform civil code. They have discussed in which states it is going to be implemented. They have discussed about how it is going to be implemented in Uttarakhand. So with this, let us move to another article. It says the importance of keeping personally identifiable information safe. So what is personally identifiable information? Any information that can be used to identify an individual. For example, your Aadhaar card, your voter ID, your passport. If any of these documents is available with someone, so they can identify that to whom it belongs to. Okay. Why we are discussing this topic? It is because recently the website of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs had a vulnerability, and that vulnerability has made open the details, personally identifiable information of many, let's say, directors of companies in India. So the thing is, under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, right? So all the companies that are listed in India, right? Private companies, public sector companies, their directors are get let's say digital signature certificates. So their information is available with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So like, you know, their system had a vulnerability, right, that had exposed the personally identifiable information of lakhs of Indian citizens, right, that has exposed personally identifiable information of lakhs of citizens. And recently what has happened, the Computer Emergency Response Team of India had notified this to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and after notifying it, what they have done, basically the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has fixed this particular vulnerability. So in this article, they have discussed what is personally identifiable information that I have already discussed. Then they have discussed that has there been any other cases of breach of data? Has there been other similar vulnerabilities where personally identifiable information of Indian citizens have been exposed? So related to this, here they have discussed about 2-3 such cases. One of the cases related to COVID portal, right, which was under Vaccine Intelligence Network. So during COVID time, on Telegram channel there was a bot, and using that bot, let's say, like, you know, Indian citizens personally identifiable information was leaked. And apart from this, here they have mentioned about another similar vulnerability. So the thing is, like, you know, there is a company, it is known as Resecurity. Resecurity is an American cyber security company, and they have notified the government of India that personally identifiable information of 815 million Indian citizens got leaked, including Aadhaar cards, passport details, right? And they were being sold in the dark net. Okay. However, the government of India has denied those allegations. However, government of India has started investigating on those allegations, right? So this is the thing. So there have been, let's say, many articles in the past also related to breach of personally identifiable information. So that will be all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.